Welcome to the Calculus, a collection of micro lectures, video lessons, and sample exercises. Let's derive the rule on differentiating a product of functions. For this video, we are to prove another rule for differentiation, specifically here in differentiating product of functions. It is stated that if f and g are functions and h is defined as the product of f of x and g of x functions, then if the derivative of f of x and g of x exists, then the derivative of h of x is just equal to the derivative of f of x times g of x plus f of x times g of x. Okay? Take note that it's a combination, it's a combination of the first derivative of the first function times the second function plus the first function and times the derivative of the second function. So we are going to show the proof of that here before applying this to specific situations and examples later. Of course, we are going to use here the general definition for a derivative or differentiation. I'm just going to use here not f, so this would be general. Let's say a prime of x is equal to this, the limit of a x plus the increment of x minus a of x over the increment of x as the increment of x approaches to 0. Or other references use this, a of x, a prime of x is the limit. Instead of increment or delta x, you're going to use here h for easier manipulations of variables as h approaches to 0. They're just the same. Nevertheless, let me use this for proper structuring of our proof, at the same time for acknowledging small values of changes in x. So we're going to show that this one here will return to this using this given relationship. So please bear with me as this will need a lot of time and more spaces. So let's start here. And this is the proof. H prime of x, per definition, this one here is the limit of h of x plus the increment of x or delta x minus h of x over delta x as delta x approaches to 0. Okay, that is by the application of the definition itself. We're going to show that this will yield to this relationship. Of course, let us have a separate scratch here. I'm talking about h of x already identified as f of x, f of x times g of x, right? In short, h of x plus delta x is also equal to the product, let me put it down, the product of fx plus delta x and g of x plus delta x, simply by changing h to this one, x to x plus delta x. Okay, why do we need this? Because these two cannot be operated as they are functions. We cannot say I will be subtracting that because h of x is there, no, and subtracting that equal to 1, no, because they are actually functions. So with that here, let me remove this, that here, because I'll be integrating now their equivalence. So you have the limit of, as this one here, this is the product of the two here at the bottom. So you have here the quantity f of x plus g of I was thinking composite, so delta x times g of x plus delta x, okay, minus h of x is the product of these two, f of x times g of x, okay, all over delta x as delta x approaches 0. The goal here actually is to remove this, solve that or cancel that, because if that is there here, as that value approaches to 0, this will be undefined. So we need to apply necessary skills in doing that. So let me Let me simplify this further by removing the grouping symbol. So we have here f of x plus delta x, g of x plus delta x. Okay, you have that. Minus f of x. They are already under product, okay? Removing the grouping symbol as delta x approaches 0. What if I will insert here 0? 0 being identity element of addition. Okay? Why do I need to use 0? So that I can introduce here actually inverses. Please review the properties of algebra. As 0 could be written as 1 plus negative 1, right? These two are in additive inverses. Added will result to 0. Another one. We could also have here 1/2 plus negative 1/2. They are both additive inverses. Adding them will result to 0, right? One more. What if I have here AK plus negative AK? They are both additive inverses. Adding them up will result to 0. Hopefully, that is already understood, because by adding 0 in the middle, I can introduce this one here, okay? I will let 0 be a product, or I mean a result of this expression, f of x plus delta x times g of x plus negative f of x plus delta x times g of x. Okay, you have this. We have inverses. They are of the same but of different sign. Okay? And then when we add them up, it will result to 0. Am I right? We have this, the product of the two, and the product of the same two but negative. When you add them up, it will result to 0. Why did I choose this? Because I have this similar terms here. Once I will insert them in our numerator, I can use factoring later. And here is how it will go. So what will happen now is this. The limit of, you have here your forms, f of x plus delta x, right, times g of x plus delta x. And then I'm going to introduce here plus 0. Okay, plus 0 minus, supposedly this is f of x times g of x, right? But this 0 is equivalent to that, this form. So I can introduce these two in our numerator. So what I would like to use first is this negative minus this one here, minus f of x plus delta x, okay, times g of x, okay, then plus this upper form, f of x plus delta x times g of x, then minus f of x g of x. This is actually what is equivalent to 0. So we're simply adding 0. We are not changing the actual value. This is the original form. This is the original form. So again, we are not changing the actual value. These are all over delta x as delta x approaches to 0. Now, doing that, as mentioned, is to see factors that can be removed. Looking into the first two terms of our numerator, we have this term and this term here. As I remove that, this term will be retained and this term will be retained under subtraction. Okay, so this is what will happen here on the first part. So you have here the limit. As you take out f of x plus delta x, okay, what retains is g of x plus delta x minus g of x. Hey, that's for the first two. For the second two, we have a common g of x here and g of x. So as you take them out, this is what retains and this as well. So what will happen is you will have here plus. Okay, plus, as you take out g of x, you will have here f of x plus delta x minus f of x. And they are all over delta x as delta x approaches 0. Again, the goal is to just remove this, so that as x approaches to 0, we will not have any undefined form. So that's our goal later. So as we take that, notice that we have on our numerator, we have two terms now separated by addition. And going to a sample here, let's say 4 plus 1 over 3. this could be written as 4/3 plus 1/3. Same denominator, but the addends are separated into different fractions. Same here, since we have plus there, we can separate them into two fractions leading into this form. Okay, the limit of f of x plus delta x times g of x plus delta x minus g of x over delta x now as delta x approaches to 0. This is grouped plus, you will have here g of x times f of x plus delta x minus f of x over delta x. Okay, so we have separated them into two rational expressions using this idea. Okay, now according to limit theorem, we can distribute the limit to both without hurting the value. So this would now be two limits. First, the limit of f of x plus delta x. Okay, we'll have here times g of x plus delta x minus g of x all over delta x as delta x approaches 0, plus another limit as you distribute the limit here, g of x times f of x plus delta x minus f of x, okay, all over delta x as delta x approaches to 0. After separating them to using one of the limit theorems, there is also another limit theorem which tells us that we can also distribute this to the terms. We're doing this so that we can clarify the final form. Okay, so we'll have here the limit of f x plus delta x as delta x approaches 0 times the limit of g of x plus delta x minus g of x over delta x as delta x approaches 0. That's for the first here. Then plus, let me use the plus here, as you also distribute that, you have the limit of g of x as delta x approaches 0 times the limit of f of x, plus delta x minus f of x as over delta x as delta x approaches 0. Okay, that's another limit theorem. The limit of a product is the product of their limits. Okay, earlier the limit of the sum is equal to the sum of their limits. After that, the limit of the product is equal to the product of their limits. Then we solve them independently. Okay, what is this? As since it doesn't have any denominator of delta x, so simply substitute. This will become 0. So what retains here is just f of x, okay, times, how about this one here? What is this related to? Look into our definition earlier, this one here. You can see that a prime of x is equal to this definition. This is just equivalent to this form, but instead of a, that's g prime of x. Plus, how about this too? What's the limit of g of x as delta x approaches 0? Since we don't have here delta x, that means this is considered to be a constant. That should be the result here. Okay? Then times, what is this equivalent to? Similar to this form, only for g, this is for f of x. So this is now the equivalent of all as after we apply limit theorems and the limit. Take note of our goal here. Take note of the plus, so it's commutative. You can have either both ways, but since this is our target, let me structure the final form here using our commutative property. Therefore, h prime of x is equal to, let's start with this, f prime of x times g of x plus, then you have here f of x times g prime of x. This is the proof for the rule on differentiating a product. In the next video, we will have an example to illustrate this further, and we can simply use this now because we are done proving this statement. Okay, so we have applied here limit theorems because one of the key concepts in differentiation is also the idea on limits. Okay, we have applied here these forms and everything part here. Thank you very much for watching. So what are you waiting for? Subscribe now!